Well, sorry for the technical issue, the long break, but of course we're back now and we'll continue our conversation. I also have in the studio with us Senator Rugbe, of course. My last question to you, looking at the worries that the Sahelian countries cannot stand in the wake of terrorism and all of that, what should be done, to make sure that these three countries, can be finally appears to come back into the fold, because that's a major thing for ECOWAS at this particular point.
And also considering the fact that you talked about they are the core of the major security crisis that we have, within the region also. Okay,
like I've noted before, diplomacy. Continue engaging them, continue speaking to them. There are some people they can listen to. Though ECOWAS did that initially, especially during the onset of the coup, where the Emir Sanusi went, Salam Abubakar also went. But there are other channels that this can be sustained. But the bottom line is that even for a longer is to ensure that there is good governance, even among ECOWAS member countries. Development always puts the interests of your people first, and show that democracy is the best form of government. Because I was speaking before, what led to this issue is because of when people feel a kind of disillusion or disenfranchised from the system, they feel that, okay, what should be the better alternative to this, and they try to fill into what the frustration of the people. But the bottom line is that democracy is still the best form of government, and we should embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience also. And from there we move to breastfeeding, which has lifelong benefits for a child's healthy growth and development. Starting with 1 hour of birth, breastfeeding exclusively without food, water, or other liquids for the first 6 months up to the age of 2 years or more, along with diverse and nutritious food, can help to protect infants from severe illness and death.
The World Health Organization and United Children's Fund, UNICEF, are urging for improvement of breastfeeding support to reduce health inequity and, of course, to protect the rights of mothers and babies to survive and thrive. They said in the last 12 years, the number of infants under the 6 months of age globally who were exclusively breastfed and increased by more than 10%.
Now, this statistics means that 48% of infants worldwide now benefit from this healthy start in life.
Interesting. So, well, of course, it's something that we'll be talking about, breastfeeding. Our guests will still be in the show, in the studio. But, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll move straight to the UK protests and other stories. We'll be right back.
And our guest this morning is a childbirth educator and a midwife, Modupe Olufisoye. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good to have you in the studio this morning. So talk to us about this year's theme and what it focuses on improving in the whole general aspect of the campaign for more breastfeeding.
All right, so the 2024 World Breastfeeding Week focuses on creating support. So we have nurturing, thriving, and closing the gap, helping to ensure that every breastfeeding mom is supported to keep the breastfeeding practice all the way for as long as the child needs breast milk. Now, the beautiful thing about breast milk is the fact that it's nature's food, it's nature's meal, it's nature's food for babies. So every mom deserves everyone's support when it comes to breastfeeding. Now, is breastfeeding important? Yes. What are the benefits of breastfeeding? First of all, it improves the immunity of the child. It gives the child all the nutrients that is required in every sense of it. Again, breastfeeding also increases the intelligence, forgive that language, intelligence, but what it actually does is that it improves the brain cells, the development of brain cells. That's what breastfeeding does. Again, breastfeeding creates a bond between child and mother. Both of them, throughout the breastfeeding time, are able to bond, are able to feel a sense of warmth and love. So that connect, a child's connect to mother starts all the way from breastfeeding. Now, breastfeeding also helps moms, okay, in the return back to the pre-pregnant state. While the mom is breastfeeding, uterine contractions are going on, so it helps to restore her body back to near pre-pregnancy. It never goes back to 100%, trust me, but it takes her close to that pre-pregnant state again. Now, with this year's theme, to be honest, it's very personal for me because mothers deserve the support, but what we have found out, the CDC breastfeeding report card that came, 2022 CDC breastfeeding report card says about 55% of babies will get breastfed in 6 months, but only 24.9% get exclusively breastfed. Now, that's a huge challenge because breastfeeding for the child, having to give that child breast milk for the entire 6 months, is our best shot to ensuring that that child is healthy. You find that children who are exclusively breastfed hardly go down under infections. Their resilience is stronger. Their capacity to withstand infection is higher. Now, if you do not give that baby that chance, and across the globe we have only 25% being exclusively breastfed, that's a huge challenge. So for this year, we want to focus on how do we then support moms to exclusively breastfeed.
So while you were talking, I just remembered that it was exclusive, I took.
Seriously?
Yeah, I did it actually for more than 2 years.
Wow. You breast? All right, so that's interesting.
Yeah, for more than 2 years. But let's look at it. You quoted the CDC for 2022. Now, there seems to be an increase in that to, breastfeeding rates increased to 34%. Of course, this is commendable, but
Sure.
are we still
it's about
lagging
76,
behind,
66,
still-
right?
66,
it's still-
right?
the numbers
So
still
how do
don't
we?
look good.
What do we do? What do mothers do, or what do we do in general to get this campaign going on the more?
So, looking at the challenges, we have to look at them from different areas. First, you want to look at the mother. Next, you want to look at the baby. Then, thirdly, you want to look at the environment around the mother. With the mother, what can we do to the mother? Now, mother is breastfeeding. I like everyone who surrounds the mom to think of the mother in herself. How is she feeling? What's the state of her health? What's the state of her mind? How is she coping with the entire newborn baby thing? It's a lot that happens and can be overwhelming, I must be honest with you. Now, the mother in herself now has to be willing, has to be excited about the entire breastfeeding process. And I think this is a function of what she knows. All right? So how much of information are we able to share that we need as healthcare providers, as breastfeeding campaigners? We need to speak more to moms, make more advertisements, reach out to them, share this knowledge and say, Mommy, you can do this. Now, away from the mother, let's look at the environment. I'm sorry, but I find across board that we have several work environments that do not support breastfeeding. A mother has to return within 8 weeks, people, and that baby is at home. If she manages to express for about 2 weeks, she may not be able to keep up with that vibe because she has pressure of work, she has pressure of baby, and one goes for one. So most times she leaves the baby in the hands of a caregiver and heads for work. Why can't we have, first, maternity leaves that are extended? Allow mat leaves. Employers will eat me up, I know. But allow mat leaves to extend all the way to 6 months and pay moms through that time. Again, if you can't extend it, can you please make the workplace suitable, baby-friendly, such that in a small room somewhere where mom can have privacy. She can quickly pop in there, breastfeed that baby, and get back to work. The advantage of this is that it allows mom to focus on whatever that work schedule is. At the same time, still be able to keep her baby properly fed. And then people around mom's home too should not pressurize moms into jumping into formula feeds. Allow moms to allow their bodies to express milk for these children so they can have it at its best.
Right, thank you very much for coming this morning to share this knowledge with us and, of course, raise this campaign. If you're close to any mother, you have to understand why it's very important to support them through the breastfeeding process so that you can be as intelligent as Demola. He did it for more than 2 years. Kudos to your mom.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure of 6 months, but I can't say if I did exclusive for 2 years.
Exclusive is just 6 months, actually.
Yeah.
Then you keep breastfeeding.
I did for 2 years. Thank you very much.
No water, nothing.
Okay, so we'll move straight to the UK protest. Far-right thugs are feared to be plotting new chaos and violence in 11 areas after anti-racist counter-protests came out in mass across the UK last night, including London.
Scores of people have been arrested and the first have been sent to prison, ranging from an OAPs armed with a Kosh to 15, 16 and 17-year-old boys caught in the middle of the chaos. And last night's feared riots were met by thousands of peaceful Brits who lined the streets in a heartwarming display of unity against cowardly hate mobs.
Thousands of counter-demonstrators waving placards reading messages like "No room for racism" and "Racist out." Refugees outnumbered the far right across the country after the threatened carnage at more than 100 locations across the UK. But UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer is expected to still hold his third high-level Cobra meeting of the week in anticipation of further unrest.
Kamala Harris has picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a former public school teacher and member of Congress, as her vice presidential nominee, BBC reports. Ms. Harris wrote on social media that he stood out from the competition because his convictions on fighting for middle-class families run deep.
Mr. Walz, at 60 years of age, said it was the honor of a lifetime to join the Democratic ticket. He's viewed as somebody who can win over rural and working-class voters, particularly in crucial Midwestern U.S. states.
Now, since the announcement of Tim Walz as Kamala Harris's running mate, there has been debates and discussions on the strategic decision behind this choice, especially over an option like Josh Shapiro, the governor of a swing state that plays an important role in who eventually wins the November presidential election.